actually.
We're
Good morning.
Whoa, we're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, we're
Hi,
live.
everybody.
So we're ready to start our program this morning, so we'd ask you to come on in and take a seat. If you're, we know that we'll have more folks filtering in as the morning goes on, but welcome. For those that are here for the first time, I'm John Ahmann. I'm the leader of the Westside Future Fund, and we're very honored to host this meeting here this morning. And just so folks are aware, we are broadcasting live on our social media channels, and so you can see the cameras around the room. Good morning. And I'm here with my wonderful host, Ebony.
Hello, everyone. I don't know how we were caught off guard. We had a timer. We had someone pointing and telling us it was time. But anyway, here we are. We are live. Again, as John said, my name is Ebony Ford. So happy to see all of you guys here. I am an English Avenue resident. I am a Hollis Innovation Academy parent. And I am a director at Quest CDC, all here on the West Side, Best Side.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I always like to especially welcome our first-time visitors. So if you're a first-time visitor, would you raise your hand? All first-time visitors? All right, y'all have to pay for the Chick-fil-A. Everyone else has, no, just,
Oh my God, no.
no, that was not true, but welcome. But for our first-time visitors, welcome. You know, big purpose of these Transform Westside Summits is to build awareness and build connectivity in the West Side, so we love first-time visitors, so thank you for being here. For our first-time visitors, our program this morning, Ebony and I are going to talk for just a couple more minutes, and then we have every summit, we have a devotion led by a community member, and we'll hear more about that in a second. And when we finish our devotion, and there'll be more folks in here by that point, we'll take the time to go around and do self-introductions so everyone can get to know each other. And then we'll have our featured guest this morning, President Cabrera of Georgia Tech, and we'll close out with a gift card drawing from the Home Depot and Goodwill, and we'll be done by 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And so also want to call out that we do a monthly e-newsletter and encourage you to sign up. I think they thought they were going to put up a slide with the, there it is. So we'd love for you to subscribe. And we have stories of impact to really talk about the work and how it's making a difference in the lives of people in the West Side. And we not only when we like to talk about the collective progress, and there was great progress earlier this week led by Quest. And Ebony, I know the huge impact that Quest is having with some new high-quality affordable housing developments. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, I will take a few seconds to tell you guys about that. Thank you, John. So yes, as John said, we had our Quest West Side Housing Trifecta. It was at the Home Depot backyard. Thank you to Sean Whatwood here who helped us pull the whole thing together. That was Wednesday. We had the who's who of community leaders here on the West Side and in the entire city of Atlanta. It was about 220 people. It was awesome. And so we did introduce our $110 million investment into housing stock in the city of Atlanta. The mayor was there. And I won't go too far into it, but if you would like to see like a recap of the event, please check out our website, questcdc.org.
And so how many units in total?
It's almost 400. I think it's 392.
Right. And most of those units are for folks that are earning $45,000 and less.
Absolutely, yes. So there's a lot of 30% AMI in there. There's some 60% AMI, which is not only affordable, that is actually deeply affordable. It's very hard to do, too. So.
And that's awesome, because that's the segment that's really disappearing.
Especially from the
yay
city.
at all the development happening, but that's also puts real pressure. So that's a huge,
yes,
a huge win. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, I think.
Also, we have a call to action.
Yeah, call
We're
to
going to
action.
continue. Yes, we have a call to action. So we need volunteers coming up. As we all know, the holiday is here, and we can tell that when it starts getting dark outside at 5:30 p.m., right? The holidays are coming. So with Thanksgiving, again, just around the corner, Westside Future Fund has partnered with Hudson Grill, fancy, to distribute over 1,000 Thanksgiving meals to families in the communities that we serve. And again, we do need volunteers to deliver these meals. We ain't gonna ask you to cook them. Hudson Grill has that on lock. To deliver these meals and make it a holiday for the families to remember. Also, Santa will be visiting soon. Don't see any children here, but we all love Santa, right? And he needs our help as well to wrap gifts for the children in the community. If you are interested in putting a smile on a child's face and you know how to wrap gifts, we don't want them, raggedy, please ask one of the Westside Future Fund team members for more information. I actually just learned how to wrap gifts about 2 years ago, so I'm talking to myself, kind of. Also, all the information that we have here at the summit needs to be disseminated, and we need you guys' help with that. So we implore you, please get connected with us. If you are watching from home, please like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. Also, get with us on all the what I call classic platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I don't believe we're on Snapchat or TikTok or anything like that yet, but again, the classic platforms, please, we do need you guys to help us get this information out. So please get connected with us. Also, when you came in at the very front table, there are some red tickets and some blue tickets. Please get both, because they are going to enter you in a raffle drawing for gift cards for Goodwill of North Georgia and also the Home Depot Foundation as well, okay? Get both tickets. We've had people win both gift cards at the same time. Again, if you haven't gotten it, get your red ticket, get your blue ticket at the table in the front, okay? I think I'm done.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
You, John. No problem.
All right, we're gonna shift down our program, and I'm gonna introduce our devotion speaker. But before I do that, we want to level set of the why behind our devotion. So we draw inspiration from the lessons of Nehemiah in the Old Testament, and the metaphor of Nehemiah rebuilding Jerusalem is something we draw inspiration from. So we just ask our speakers to draw inspiration from that, not necessarily a lesson from Nehemiah. But we always want to read a leveling statement about the devotion. I'm going to read that out loud, and you can see it up on the screen. It's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community, recognizing that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside revitalization effort. The time at the beginning of our meetings is an opportunity to share various inspirational reflections. While the speakers may articulate their personal faith, it's meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful, with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. So I am really excited that Colette Haywood has agreed to do our devotion. Colette is a longtime Vine City resident. She's the senior editor of the Historic Westside News. She's a graduate of Morris Brown College, one of our most historic colleges on the West Side. And I know when I started the Westside Future Fund in 2016, Colette was amongst the first community leaders that I met. And we were doing at that particular point, one of our big initiatives of the West Side Land Use Framework Plan, and she was very active in advocating for the community, especially for the equitable revitalization of the historic West Side. And now I live in Vine City, and she lives right around the corner from me, so we're neighbors of sorts, and I think that's a great kind of part of the community building, and I'm really honored that you would leave us in our devotion this morning, so please.
Thank you. I can see you from my back deck.
Right.
Your back deck. I'm so glad that they used this picture of me, because it's been filtered. You can't see my wrinkles, so thank y'all for that. So the lesson of Nehemiah, John talked a little bit about inclusivity, and I'm also a seminarian. I graduated from ITC, so I believe that everyone has their own theology, and when we look at Nehemiah, although we hear it from a Christian lens, there are principles in Nehemiah that we could all apply, especially as we do this work. So for those of you who don't know, Nehemiah was Jewish, and he lived during the 5th century BC in Susa, which was the capital of the Persian Empire. And he was employed as the cupbearer to the king. That was a really important job because he was responsible for making sure that the king stayed alive. But he was such a good leader and so, what's the word I want to use? Moral, that he was also put in charge of building the wall of Jerusalem. Now, hundreds of years before the time of Nehemiah, the capital of the Jewish state had been destroyed. So they were able to build back the city. However, the wall still remained. And at that time, the wall was really important because it guarded people from everything. So when I look at Nehemiah, I really pay attention to 4 key principles. The first being prayer and meditation. And that's important to me because we have to be in tune with our inner selves to discover what it is that we want to achieve. And as I said, I happen to be a Christian, but you're going to be your own theologian, so you believe what you believe. But at the same time, we all have to come to a basic understanding. So even if you believe in a creator, we all have to coexist, right? And we hear these buzzwords like equity, and really it kind of gets on my nerves because we don't talk about what that means. For me, equity means that we are taking care of the least of these. And John, the Westside Future Fund, you already discussed how I purchased a home. Y'all took care of the least of these because that was an arduous process, and you all worked with me through every step of that. So I will be eternally grateful. And I like to think that I'm not special, that you all would apply those same values to everybody. The second thing that I get from Nehemiah is schedule and support. So what does that mean? We need a timeline. You know, we do a lot of surveys and a lot of work, but we don't really have a timeline of what it is that we want to do. So before you know it, we look up and somebody is out of administration or that funding source has dried up, and all that stuff that we were planning for doesn't get done. So we need to include timelines and start making long-term visions of the work that we want to do here on the West Side. The third thing is being prepared to face opposition and obstacles. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The opposition and the obstacles, some of them are within our control, right? Like we can control how we interact with one another. Some of them are outside of our control. Like sometimes federal funding, we don't necessarily have control over that, or environmental factors, we may not have control of that. But we need to recognize what those are and coalesce around solutions and be willing to partner with each other to get the job done. The third thing is sacrifice is a means to success. So what does that mean? For me, that means you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. I call it managed expectations. And you know, expectations are really emotional demands on another person. So everybody has the ability to manage your expectation. Ain't no money trees. None of us can go outside and just pick dollars off the tree. So we have to be conscious of our dollars. So when we think about Nehemiah, or when you read the text, if you read the text, I hope that you keep those principles in mind. And even if you don't, I think that they can serve us all well. Thank you.
Colette, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I just found out this is actually homegirl here, Flint, Michigan. I'm from Saginaw. I know, it is crazy, right? Thank you so much for being here today, and for being in Atlanta. We appreciate you. I don't think I need the second one. There you go, Sonia. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to get to the really fun part. So all those first-time visitors, probably afraid that you're going to be asked to speak. Well, now the time has come. The good thing is you won't be the only one, right? Because we're asking everyone to speak. So this is the time that we ask everyone to get up and introduce yourselves, and we're going to ask Elizabeth, we're going to ask that you introduce yourself, say your affiliation, whatever organization you're affiliated with, and what part of town you live in. If it is the West Side, if not, we don't care. Just kidding, just kidding. And then we'll ask you to stop right then because we do have quite a few people here, and we want everybody to have a chance, okay? And we are going to start here with Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Lawler. I work at Georgia Tech, and I live in the Upper West Side.
Hi, I'm McLeod Blunt. I'm a Georgia Tech student, and I live in the Upper West Side.
Hi, I'm Riley Blunt with AT&T, 30318 is our zip code. And John, I just always appreciate the collaboration we have with y'all. Glad to be here today.
Good morning. I'm Mary Elizabeth Robertson with AT&T, and I'm about to be a resident of the Upper West Side.
Hi, everyone. My name is Suna Lume, and I'm with Portal Innovation. So we will be right here around the corner from this location, and I'm living in Reynoldstown.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Chris Burke, Georgia Tech. I live in North Gwinnett.
Good morning, everyone. Reverend Leroy Wright, First Thessalonian Missionary Baptist Church. I live in Greenbrier.
Tony Zivelich with Georgia Tech Real Estate. I live up in Sandy Springs, but have a lot of impact on what's going on around the campus here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ndai Danival. I'm a legacy resident in the English Avenue neighborhood, and I work at Morehouse School of Medicine as an instructional designer.
Morning, everyone. My name is David Gibbs. I work with Social Capital Consulting, and I live in Stone Mountain.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica Pantoja. I'm the Executive Director of the Insoro Educational Foundation, and we are on the west side, but I live in Buckhead.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Patterson. I'm with Optimal Development. I live in Smyrna and a tech graduate.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Linda Adams, my city resident.
Good morning, Marvin Bussey, Teens at Work.
Good morning. I work for Georgia Tech. I live in the Midtown area.
All right, Sean Wildwood. I'm at the Home Depot backyard and English Avenue resident. Y'all said a bunch of cities I ain't never heard of.
I'm sorry, did you say your name?
Tammy Scott.
You did say Tammy Scott. So sorry, I didn't hear you, Ms. Scott. Thank you.
Good morning. Graham Little with CBRE. I live in North Buckhead.
Ryan Smith with Trammell Crow Company, Old Fourth Ward.
Brandon Houston, Trammell Crow Company. We're developing Science Square. I live in Buckhead.
Hi, my name is Bryn Davis. I'm here with Emory University. I do not live in the West Side, but I do a lot of work in English Avenue, Vine City, and even through the farther south than that. But we specifically work on the Superfund site, so if you have any questions about that, you can ask me while I'm here today.
I'm sorry. Good morning, I'm Paula Moody. I'm the CEO of Families First, and we're located in the historic West Side in Vine City.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Shantae Bolton. I oversee administration and finance at Georgia Tech to include real estate, and I am 3 months into being a new resident of the Upper West Side.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Lynch, and I'm with Trammell Crow Company, also working on Science Square. Native Atlantan, lived in multiple areas in Atlanta, Midtown, West Side, and I currently reside in North Buckhead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pradeep Bharadwaj. I'm an ACE fellow with President Cabrera. I live in Orlando, so do I have to leave now?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathleen Bryant with Partners in Change, providing free life coaches for adults pursuing new goals, and I live in Decatur.
Hey, my name is Mary Nell Williams. I work for Chick-fil-A, and I live in the Upper West Side. Just moved there.
Hi, Emily Owen with Alvarez and Marcel, and I live on the Upper West Side.
Good morning, Caitlin Leach with Perkins & Will, and I live in Midtown.
Good morning, I'm Ebony Killian, managing broker of Sovereign Realty and Management and president of Women's Council of EBR, Empire Board of Realtors. I am an Eastlake resident, however, my family is legacy resident from Hunter Hill.
Hi, I'm Norika Walker. I'm with Georgia Tech, and I live in Marietta.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Kim. I'm the chair of the School of Architecture at Georgia Tech and director of the Flourishing Communities Collaborative, and I live in the Margaret Mitchell neighborhood.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Max. I'm with Georgia Tech and live in the Upper West Side.
All right. Hi, good morning. I'm Mandy Eatson with Self-Help Credit Union. We're opening a branch in the West End in the spring, so very excited to be here. And I live in Underwood Hills.
Hi everyone, how you doing? My name is Robin Senior. I'm with the Centers of Disease and Control, and I live in Lithonia.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Councilmember Cleta Winslow, having served 28 years on the Atlanta City Council. Always happy to be here. John, thank you for being a great host to us whenever we come. And I live in West End, in historic West End. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Shorthouse, and I'm with Partners in Change, promoting personal, social, and economic upward mobility through coaching. Join us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diamond Ford. I'm with Georgia Tech.
All right, I guess I'm on. Good morning. At Jerry Kiernan, AP Global Scholars Network. Our office is right here on Marietta Street, but I actually live in Marietta, so 2 Mariettas.
Good morning. My name is Camille May. I am a graduate of Spelman College and resident of Grove Park.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tracy Bates, and for all those English Avenue residents, I am your English Avenue Neighborhood Association president. So I would like to see you and meet you and invite you to join the Neighborhood Association. And I live on English Avenue in English Avenue.
Good morning. I'm Dallas Smith. I'm a board member of the Westside Future Fund, chair for next year. Born and raised in Atlanta, in Hunter Hill. Live in East Atlanta now. Bought a house on MLK. Hopefully this time next year, I will be back in Hunter Hill.
Ángel Cabrera, president of pardon me, Georgia Tech, and I live in Virginia Highland.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Justine Veal. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Peachtree Road, co-host of State Press Podcast, and future resident of Vine City.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Hattie Pollard, over 50 years in Vine City resident. So where you fellas were 60 years ago, welcome aboard. Truly, we needed you that time. Little shacks and kids, 60,000 in one little area. So we came from a long way. Welcome aboard, new neighbors. Truly, I thank God for where I came from. Married, 7 children, 7 college graduates come out of it. So it's some good come out of Nazareth, okay? So good welcome, good morning.
Amen. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Muriel Murphy. This is my mom. And I am a retired AT&T employee, 35 years. And I am a resident of Vine City. Amen.
Good morning, family. I'm Tillman Ward, Community Resources of Atlanta, lifelong resident, Vine City, historic West Side. And we all share the vision to, as we aspire to inspire before we expire. And we thank Chris from Georgia Tech. I think he's still a friend for bringing all these communities here, Upper West Side, Lower West Side, Outer West Side. But we're family. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Bush. There's no sign near the Booker T. Washington High School, but that is the Booker T. Washington community since 1924. And I'm a HBCU grad. Hi. Hampton University.
Greetings, everyone. Sandy Rogers with Sandy Rogers Authentic Ascension.
Hi, hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Dejanera King. I am here with Perkins & Will, and I'm an architectural designer. I grew up in Summer Hill, and I reside in the now Upper West Side, but He knows Bankhead. And I went to PWI, Kennesaw State University. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lauren Neef. I'm with Perkins and Will as well, and I live in Midtown.
Good morning. I'm Colleen Ayala. I'm with Perkins and Will as well. I'm actually new to Atlanta from DC, Washington, DC. Yay. I've worked in housing and community redevelopment for over 30 years, and I'm just excited to get to know the community and learn how I can serve.
Maria, kick us off.
Hello, I'm Maria Saporta. I'm a longtime journalist. I'm so interested in today's program because I grew up on the Georgia Tech campus. My father was a professor of architecture at Georgia Tech for 30 years, and so it's home. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Raymond Cameron. I go by Cam. I work for a company called FlexPoint Media, but I'm the only employee located in Atlanta, so that's why you've never heard of us. And I live in Asheview Heights.
Hi, I'm Ashley Todd. Also live in Asheview Heights. We just bought our first ever home there, so really excited to join this community and get to know all about the West Side.
Robert Butler, Coldwell Banker Real Estate.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Antonio Henson. I'm a community lender with Renaissance Bank, and I reside in Norcross.
Good morning, everyone. Cecilia Borgman, affiliated with Georgia Tech, and I am a Midtown renter, which I feel like is important to say.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheldon Hill. I'm with Foreclosure International. We specialize in all aspects of real estate, from foreclosures, evictions. We're nationwide. We're one of the largest in the country. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Eamon Martin. I'm with Penrose. We're the development manager of Herndon Square, which is the former Herndon Homes public housing community, Atlanta Housing's redevelopment project. And I actually live right over there at Centennial Place, the former Techwood Homes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Debbie Morris. I'm an executive coach and HR professional. I live in Upper West Side.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarabhi Maheshwari. I am an architecture graduate student at Georgia Tech, and I am currently a research assistant at Flourishing Communities Collaborative.
Good morning. My name is Myrna Clayton. I'm executive director for Showability. We empower talented performing artists across the disability spectrum. I'm always interested in learning from architects so that we can go beyond ADA and into universal design and human-centered design. So very happy to be here.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Zong. I'm a student at Georgia Tech, and I'm leading the Solar Decathlon at Georgia Tech Student Club. We're designing and building a net zero energy home with Westside Future Fund. I also live in Upper West Side, so glad to be here.
Hi, I'm Ari Desai. I'm with him. I'm also a third-year civil engineering student. We're really excited to build a sustainable home and connect with the community.
Hi, my name is Brandon Sherwood. I'm a CPA with Eide Bailey, specializing in affordable housing, and I live in the Upper West Side.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jasmine Mays. I am a manager at Choice Neighborhoods, which is a part of Atlanta Housing.
Hello, my name is Archie Emerson. I am the current president of the Empire Board of Realtors, and I'm also the broker and owner of Dedicated Realty Incorporated and the designated broker to help move the property in Legacy Home. Thank you, with Westside Future Fund.
Good morning. I'm Leila Gill, also with the Empire Board of Realtors and our NID Housing Counseling Agency.
Hi, good morning. My name's Colleen Karasi. I am a branded environments designer from Perkins and Will, former downtown resident when I went to Georgia State University, currently living in Tucker.
Good morning, Stephanie Douglas. I work in community relations at Georgia Tech. Have served there for about 10 or 11 years, doing very important work, certainly wanting to make sure we spread the STEM initiatives that we have at Georgia Tech to a lot of our babies here in the neighborhoods.
Hi, my name is Peyton van Skalkvijk. I am with Atlanta Youth Rugby. So this is my first meeting here, but hoping to potentially move some more organized youth sports down to the west side. But I'm a little bit more up north where I reside. But thank you for having me.
Hi, Bill Bowling from Foodwell Alliance.
Laura Heary. I focus on livable districts and neighborhoods with an architectural background. I think we're...
Thank you. I think that is, oh, got somebody. Thank you, Bill. It's okay.
Hi, good morning. I'm Susan Banner with Most Valuable Kids of Greater Atlanta. We're the ticketing nonprofit. I have a bunch of books in my car if you are an educator and want to take some books to your middle, elementary, or high school students.
I'm Corey Bishop with AVLF, and yesterday I got my key to our new office on the west side.
Good morning, Charles Merriweather, Goodwill, but we put people to work.
Okay, I think that's it. We can give each other a round of applause. Oh, I just don't want to forget this little guy that walked in today. Well, he's eating. I don't want to interrupt you. Let Dad speak. Oh, he made that clear, didn't he? He said no.
He also didn't do a name tag. Good morning. My name is Eric Wilder. I live on the southwest side. Ivan Hill. Audubon Forest. I'm interested in any conversation people are having about community and taking care of each other, and this feels like a good room, so I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Hey, you guys. Round of applause for each other.
All right, thank you. So if you heard someone, you're like, what they're doing sounds interesting, or maybe I'm doing something that might be interesting to them. Like if you heard something that might be an interesting connection for you, raise your hand from that self. All right, I'd really encourage you to follow up on what you're thinking, because we know from the connectivity of people, bringing new ideas together. That's the way we can make a lot of things happen. And as I get ready to, and I know we got a great crowd this morning, and I would like to think it's because of something we did different, but I know we got a great guest this morning folks are excited about. So raise your hand if you're somehow affiliated, an alumni, work, or any kind of affiliation with Georgia Tech. Raise your hand here this morning. All right, awesome. All right, so thank you for being here, and I'm really delighted to have the president of Georgia Tech. I'm going to ask you to come on up. The 12th president of Georgia Tech, the first Spanish president of an American university. So that's a...
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
All right.
And he's a native of Spain, and our program for this morning, he and I will talk till about right around 8:40, and then we're going to open it up to the audience. And so we'll and then we'll be, like I said earlier, we'll finish the program about 9 o'clock. But first, just to start, and I know some of the folks here know you pretty well, but for folks that don't know you, like what would you like folks to know about you, your background, your commitment to Georgia Tech? Like, what are some of the things you would like folks in the audience to know about you?
Probably well, first of all, John, thank you so much for having me. This is an awesome crowd, and I love your practice of introducing everybody and share your neighborhood, and all of a sudden very quickly we go from being just an anonymous group of people to all of a sudden it feels like a community. I love it. And thank you for your leadership and what many of you guys do to make this a wonderful community. So here's what I sometimes tell my students about me, because I want them, especially students who may not have had family privilege by the time they make it to Georgia Tech. I'm a first generation college kid. My parents did not go to school. At the time in Spain, it was hard for many people to go to university. And yet I was able to go to a great university in Spain. I did very well. And to my surprise, I didn't even know this existed or that it was a possibility for someone like me. I got a Fulbright scholarship that allowed me to come to the US to get a doctorate. I didn't even know what a doctorate was when I first went to college. And all of a sudden, not only I was getting a doctorate, I was doing that in one of the great American universities. So I landed in 1991, TWA flight, in Atlanta to go to Georgia Tech. So I am here because of great universities. First, great public university in Spain that gave me my first chance, and then another great, one of the greatest public universities in the country, in the world, really, Georgia Tech. So I came to Georgia Tech in 91. I got my master's, my PhD, and my wife as a bonus. Wow. So I married a lady from Florence, Alabama, and we've lived, we actually moved to Spain, and that's a story for another day. How a lady from Florence, Alabama, who didn't speak a word of Spanish, ends up following a Spaniard to Madrid, Spain, and ends up having kids in Spain and becomes a tenure professor in Spain. That's another story. But anyway, so we have a bicultural, bilingual family, lived in Spain, now in the US. And then to make things crazier, my son decides to come to Georgia Tech for school, graduated in 2019, and he just got engaged to his Georgia Tech girlfriend. So now This is getting very weird. Now we have two generations of Cabreras, if you will, who found their life partner at Georgia Tech.
Awesome. Well, I was thinking so you said 91 when you got your...
91 when I arrived. Atlanta was a little bit different back then.
At that time, did you imagine yourself as the president? Did you think then?
No, are you kidding? I was never even in the principal's office, and now I live in it. I mean, it's the craziest thing you can imagine. Yeah.
So what was that like when you were remembering your days as a student, and now you're president? Like, what?
Well, my first reaction when I was given the job was, let's hope that my grad school friends don't talk. Which so far so good.
Right.
No, it's a huge honor. Huge honor. I mean, this is like, honestly, a crazy life adventure. And to come back, when Beth and I came back in this capacity, it was unreal. It was incredible. I mean, an incredible part of our life story. And it also makes this job more than a job. I mean, it's really, it's pretty incredible.
Well, as you think, for the audience here, like the things you would really want folks to know under your leadership, you're really trying to, see through at Georgia Tech, your big initiatives as you think about moving.
Well, yeah, so the first thing you need to know is that, and I remind my colleagues all the time, is to make sure we always remember who we are. We are a public university. We are yours. You own us. You are the shareholders of Georgia Tech. We serve you. We get up in the morning and have to ask ourselves, how do we create more value for our community? That's what we do. So the first thing I did when I arrived back for the second in 2019 was to get the community together to think about that question. What do we want to accomplish together? And we produced a strategic plan. But this was not like bring outside consultants to figure out the strategy for Georgia Tech. This was more than 5,000 people, students, faculty members, alums, leaders of organizations, leaders of foundations, community leaders, gathering together, say, what do we do? And after hours and hours and hours of conversations and work, we came up with a plan. The hardest part was to craft our mission statement, which we needed to have something very concise that told the story of who we are and what we're trying to do. And that mission is we develop leaders who advance technology and improve the human condition. And it was very important because what that sentence says is We believe in technology. We're tech nerds. We're the Georgia Institute of Technology, but not because of technology's sake. We believe in technology as a tool, as a resource to improve how we all live. So we're devoted to how do we prepare more people to really use and leverage the power of technology, but also with an idea of how do you make our communities better. That means, it has many implications. It means that we need to, first of all, teach a lot more than just technology. Though we're proud top engineering school, but we have people studying economics and policy, and architecture and urban planning, and in all sorts of like liberal arts and social science. Why? Because if you're going to improve the human condition, you better have an understanding of what aspects of the human condition need improving. It also means that we need to worry about not just good engineers, but also we said develop leaders. How do we give people tools to drive change? That's another big part of what would. The other thing is, if you're going to improve the human condition, you need to figure out how to give the tools to everybody. And I'll tell you, we haven't done great historically. Georgia Tech did not accept women until the late 50s. The first black students were accepted in 1961. And even now, we do much better, but we're only at around 7-ish% of black students at Georgia Tech. We are doing better, but we need to do much better. Again, it's just if we're going to deliver on our mission to improve the human condition, you need to have people of all backgrounds and give them the tools to understand what things need to improve. So lots of implications from that simple sentence.
No, thank you. And putting off one of your last points on more African American students, Ebony, our co-host, I was looking around. Her son goes to the Hollis Innovation Academy, and the former principal of Hollis now works at Georgia Tech this morning. Thank you. But one of her questions was, if her son wants to, for her son to go to Georgia Tech, what should he be doing? What would you tell her son to be doing today so that
Study like crazy. Study like crazy, because it's become so hard to get into Georgia Tech, so competitive. It's crazy, really. Like last year, we got 52,000 applications. And we're growing the entering class. This microphone is a little bit choppy. At some point in time, you might want to give me a handheld. But so we got 52,000 applicants for about 3,700 slots in the freshman class. This is a record for the state, not just for Georgia Tech, for the state. It's crazy. This year, we're already 10% ahead of where we were last year. So that's good news, but it's tough news. It's good news because that means that we're bringing some of the best students from the state and across the country and even from around the world. It's tough news because there are lots of top students that are doing very, very well who unfortunately may not get in. However, I have some good news. We have a program for Atlanta Public Schools that if, let's say, you apply to Georgia Tech and you don't get in, we give you a guaranteed pathway. You go to another school, you take a list of classes that we're going to tell you. If you get a certain GPA, and I forgot what the exact GPA it is, but if you do well, you're guaranteed. It's not you have to apply again for transfer and compete. You're a guaranteed pathway into Georgia Tech. This is the same deal we offer the children of Georgia Tech alumni. So if your parents or your grandparents went to Georgia Tech, you have no advantage to get in. However, the only thing you have is that if you don't get in, we give you a guaranteed pathway. If you go to Atlanta Public Schools, whether or not you have any kind of family connection to Georgia Tech, you get the exact same deal.
Okay. Well, I'm an Atlanta native, grew up in Druid Hill, so it is amazing to me, because I remember when Midtown, I graduated from Emory University in '87, to give you a sense of, and to see what Midtown looks today, and much of that is thanks to folks wanting to be near Georgia Tech, and from a placemaking perspective, because Georgia Tech, you sit next to some of our most prosperous parts of our city, right? And then some of the more challenged parts of our city. And as you think about, Georgia Tech and bridging that kind of opportunity divide, so to speak, like how do you think about Georgia Tech's role in that to help connect the opportunity from a placemaking perspective?
When I landed at Georgia Tech in '91, and I, coming from Spain, one of the first things I realized is that people in Atlanta did not know that they could use their legs for transportation. I did not have a car, and it looked like you were not even a human being without a car, but I insisted I'm going to use my legs for transportation. So I would take a stroll through Techwood homes and come back and be told by my colleagues, are you out of your mind? You just don't go south of North Avenue. Or I would go to Midtown, across the connector, to see what was the city around us. Or I would come to the west side of our campus, and every single time I was told the same thing, are you out of your mind? I had a bicycle. One of my classes required that I go to the zoo to collect data, and same, I would get on my bicycle. It was a little too far to walk, and I would ride through neighborhoods, same things, like, are you out of your mind? That's one of the first things that caught my attention. Oh my gosh, there are these barriers in Atlanta. There's this invisible lines that you are or not allowed to cross. Coming back, there are a couple of things that I've been amazed by, but also I think a reminder that much more work needs to be done. First of all, it was great to see the transformation of Midtown. And it was great to see that Georgia Tech had played the key role in that transformation. 2 presidents ago, Wayne Clough, who's a dear friend, they had at the time, crazy idea that Georgia Tech could buy land on the other side of the connector and start developing it. Think about it. They said they were going to build a new building for the business school on the other side of the connector. You might as well have sent them to Siberia. Are you kidding me? You're going to send the business. Oh, no, it gets better. We're going to build a hotel in Midtown. Who's going to want to stay in Midtown? Oh, no, it gets better. We're going to bring the bookstore there. Who is ever going to go to Midtown to buy a T-shirt or to buy anything? You see now the result of that transformation. Georgia Tech made some investments. Then the private sector followed. And what we now have is one of the most attractive neighborhoods in the city, in the South, for young people to live, one of the highest concentrations of startups, the place where the Googles of the world and the Ciscos of the world and the NCRs of the world want to go to do business. It's been transformed. Big part of that also was that bridge, that 5th Street Bridge, which was a sort of a very, I think the technical term in architectural terms is very sketchy bridge connecting our campus with Midtown. And it was transformed into a very welcoming, almost like a park connecting. You don't know that you're crossing over like 14 lanes of traffic, and that blend the campus and Midtown. So we've seen what can happen when a public university like Georgia Tech thinks intentionally about its own growth and about bringing value. And we've seen what the Beltline has created, which is, you just met the chairman of the School of Architecture. He's an alum of Georgia Tech. We're very proud of him, who had the original concept of building the Beltline and how it has contributed to reconnecting the city. But the city is still very divided, physically divided. I ride a bicycle to work from Midtown, from Virginia Highland. That's my preferred form of transportation these days. I guess some things don't ever change, like since my time as a grad student. In fact, if I ever have to drive because I have an event, I'm kind of in a bad mood for the rest of the day because I had to drive. Well, today I had to drive because there is no way, without risking your life, to come from Virginia Highland to the gathering spot on a bicycle. There's no way. I have students who do research right here on, we call it NARA, the North Avenue Research. It's a very creative acronym. We have lots of research labs, right? They can all walk And we are less than half a mile from the campus. You cannot walk without risking your life coming through that tunnel under the North Avenue. You just cannot do it. So there is a lot of work that needs to happen still to physically restitch, reconnect our city together, to get over those red lines. And that's a big part of what we're trying to do with the development here, and I'm happy to tell you about what it is we're doing here. And since our partners are in the room, they can correct the record as needed.
No, go ahead, because I know, we all kind of came through it to get the gathering spot. If you want to go ahead and talk about that.
Terrific. Well, if you just look outside of that window, what you'll see is a beautiful apartment building, The Grace, and next to it, it's really an incredible, very sophisticated building that is going to be the home of Atlanta's future biomedical and health sciences business ecosystem. This whole complex is called Science Square. It's being developed by our friends at Trammell Crow, who are very well represented. They introduced Catherine is the lead of the team, but there are other colleagues with her today. They've been amazing because we've partnered. You've heard Tony Zivelich, who leads our real estate programs. We found the best possible developer. And the concept is to really, in a way, do what Georgia Tech did in Midtown, but do it in the field of life sciences and do it on this side of that railroad. That's what we're trying to do. This is a big bet. So here's what happens right now. Atlanta does very well in fintech and IT and companies like that. But when a faculty member spins out a startup in biomedical engineering or biotechnology of some sort, as soon as that company has some promise, it gets bought by some fund or some company in Boston and moved out of town. It has happened several times. We don't like it. Emory University and Georgia Tech have now one of the best programs in biomedical engineering in the country. But when students create a new company, it ends up getting out. We want those companies to stay here, and that is the big bet. So Trammell Crow also has partnered with Portal Innovation, and I think Suna Lume, who introduced herself earlier, she represents Portal Innovations to try to activate. So it's not just the building, it's how do we activate that ecosystem? How do we bring the right organizations to drive innovation right here? We have an incubator. Georgia Tech already has an incubator right next door to here. It's called BioSparks. And it's a place that if you are creating a new biotech company, gives you access to lab space, to really a place where you can create your new company. But what we learned, several things we learned from Tech Square. One is, it's not just about creating the right office space. It's not just about having the right space to have wet labs and to have the infrastructure that you need. You need to have a place where people like to spend time, to live, to grab a bite, to develop a social life. That's why the development is not just the office and lab building, it is the condos. That's why being in proximity to the gathering spot is a big deal. So what you're going to see here is the creation of a new ecosystem, of a new neighborhood. So that is very, very important to this. Our partners have done a terrific job. So the apartment complex, the Grace, is named after Grace Hamilton, first African-American woman to be elected to the General Assembly in Georgia. So even the symbolism of the neighborhood it tries to celebrate what this community in this neighborhood is all about. Last thing, see, I'm on a soapbox now. You got me started. This is the last big part that we learned from Tech Square that we want to reflect here is we need a bridge. We need to make sure that our faculty, that our students, that our members of our community don't have to risk their lives to go from here to Georgia Tech. So the design of Science Square is based on a future pedestrian and a bicycle bridge that will connect this neighborhood with the heart of our campus. Probably going through a new neighborhood that my friend Tony, my colleagues are developing in between called Art Square, dedicated to enhancing the art and the intersection of arts and technology. So that bridge is going to be a big deal. He says, I had no idea bridges are so darn expensive. So we are trying to find the money, trying to get money from the feds, trying to get money from local investors as well. Dallas Smith, who's the future chairman of this organization, he's also, I think he was distracted the other day because he's a member of the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia. He got distracted the other day, so he got elected vice chairman of the Board of Regents. So, and very likely, hopefully, he will be the new chairman maybe next year. I will not ask you for money for the bridge. Hopefully we'll find it elsewhere, okay? But that is going to be a huge part of this neighborhood.
And maybe then we'll go to questions on it, but I know y'all have also been involved in the bridge where Donnelly Howell currently deadheads.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to say something about that bridge that's going to connect onto the...
Oh, thank you. Yes, no, so you mean the bridge to nowhere?
Correct.
Yeah, that bridge, honestly, it's almost a symbol of what needs to be fixed in this community, right? I mean, a bridge that is actually a beautiful iron bridge suspended in midair and just cut off. So we're not going to pay for that one, but we're very, very supportive and hoping that bridge will be revived as well and help reconnect our neighborhoods.
No, because I think that particular bridge could be like a great, kind of like the Fifth Street Bridge in terms of the connectivity for pedestrians and bikes, and because then with that bridge you're actually connected right into English Avenue as well. But I know we wanted to open it up to questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand and someone will bring a mic to you. And so I see quite a few hands.
Good morning. What efforts are you making or will you make to aid and increase STEM education in the public schools and in this community in particular?
So is my colleague Lizanne DeStefano, is she here? So that's an excellent question, and the answer is several things, and I have actually some notes here. First of all, as part of the agreement that we made with our partners at Trammell Crow, they created a grant to support life science education in the Douglas and Washington clusters. The grant will also help fund scholarships for local residents to get associate's degrees from Atlanta Metropolitan College and also to provide community members with internships to get the training credentials. I was going to say when this development is successful and fully occupied, it's going to create lots of very good jobs, and not all jobs that require advanced degrees. There will be a lot of good jobs for people with the right skills. So we want to make sure that the value that this investment is making is accruing to the community. But SEISMIC, which is everything at Georgia Tech has an acronym. SEISMIC, I don't even know what it stands for. It's the Center for something, science, math. It's basically our K-12 program. I'm sorry, guys. I've told them they need to change the name. They say they love the name. It's our K-12 program. We do a lot of work, amazing work, under the leadership of my colleague Lizanne, that is devoted to helping kids want to go to a place like Georgia Tech. Like we do programs like Engage, Project Engages, where students from Atlanta Public Schools who may have never seen a scientist. I never saw a scientist at home. I didn't live with scientists or engineers. They spent a summer working at a lab with a faculty member at Georgia Tech. They get a lab coat with their name, which is very cool. They get paid something, not much, but just all of a sudden they see themselves doing science. By the time the summer is over, they have no doubt in their mind they're going to go to college, and many of them, they will study science and engineering. We do tons of work also with Atlanta Public Schools, sometimes with the students directly, sometimes with the teachers, empowering the teachers to be able to do a better job. a lot of more work needs to be done, but we're very active in that space.
Well, thinking that, I know there's a lot of interest on the Washington cluster with that program, and maybe we'll bring like another program in 2024 to really dive deeper into that partnership opportunity, especially given the commitment you just said is coming out of the development here to help support that in the Booker T. Washington cluster. That's terrific.
Excellent. Thank you. And I want to say my son's at Hollis, third grade, and I know that the program works with, I think, Drew Charter, Centennial, and Hollis. And yes, and he spends his summers there. He tells my family back in Michigan that he goes to Georgia Tech.
And
because they're literally on the campus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're planning, I think it's now 20, what grade is he in? Was he a rising sixth?
He's in third grade right now. He started kindergarten, I believe, as soon as he got to Hollis.
Okay. Anyway, we're expanding that program.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Good to hear.
Hello. First of all, thank you for your authenticity and your sincerity. I really appreciate it. It really oozes through your spirit, and so I appreciate that, which is a wonderful, refreshing perspective. Thank you. I'm going to probably come from left field. I'm a professional singer commissioned by the U.S. State Department to represent American music abroad. I say that because I've had the pleasure of traveling around the world and seeing places like Amsterdam that are very, very much so pedestrian and bicycle focused, person focused, disability focused. And so because of my interest in disability, also maybe others may not know that Atlanta lost a settlement with the federal government because of its ADA lack of compliance. And so things like sidewalks and things like that. And so I'm impressed with what you're planning to do and the conceptual things that you're looking to do, but I'm thoughtful of the disability community, which represents the largest minority population in the country. 26% of the people, 1 in 4, have a disability. And so 2 things as it relates to Georgia Tech. First of all, the students with disabilities that are there, and looking at that minority population so that you can think about them. And then also beyond that, as you're looking at the roadways and the thoughts of those persons with disabilities, to really be conscientious of them. And so I'm curious if you know at all. Most people don't, because from childhood we're taught not to point and not to stare, and so they're basically invisible, hidden in plain view. And so I ask you, as it relates to the architects, and again, universal design, and people-centered, human-centered initiatives, what is Georgia Tech doing as it relates to the disability community?
So, actually, I mentioned Professor Julie Kim, who chairs the School of Architecture, and she would be in a much, much better position than I am to answer that question. But what I can tell, what I have seen, not being an architect myself, but Julie and her colleagues have been educating me since I arrived, and I've been so impressed. For example, Julie leads the Flourishing Communities Collaborative, and I hope I get it right. But so she makes sure that her students, they spend time on the West Side. They meet with the neighbors. They understand the culture, the history, the life, the needs of all the residents, and try to translate that into designs, urban design, architectural design that responds to those needs, including the needs of people with disabilities, but everybody. And I've been really amazed by the work they do. They present projects every year. I try to go because I see things through their eyes that I would never have seen in a million years. But this work that we do is based on the idea that our community should be our lab, our own campus and the communities around us. We don't have to go far to find big problems that we can help solve in partnership with the people who are experiencing those issues, and turn that into a transformative learning experience for our students at the same time. Jill, do you need to explain that?
Well, just to spring off of where you are on this conversation and your own understanding of walkability, when Wayne Clough led the mini lid, he used student studies and energized conversations on the creativity that did take place. But it did not address urban heat island effect, energy consumption, walkability, human scale, public space. It's an incredible transformation. And we're looking at half of Atlanta, very sensitive greenscapes and neighborhoods. So neighborhood scale design, utilizing Candida's knowledge, all of the knowledge that's inside Georgia Tech on urban heat island effect, how to mitigate that. Can you tell us any pathways that would accelerate from research into actual application, and how, whether there's some funding streams or where you can kind of take the model of Wayne Clough of a beneficial transformation to think of it more in terms of human-centered design and preservation of these neighborhoods?
Yeah, so what I can tell you, again, and this has been my own education from my colleagues in the School of Architecture, of how crucial tree canopies are to maintain temperatures down, to increase quality of life, the whole notion of heat islands and how they correlate with income and other metrics of human development. One big project that we did in the center of our campus, which has been, I think, eye-opening for many of us, and I hope we can take learning from that, was the Eco Commons is a park that is next to Candida, to the Candida building. And it used to be just surface parking. And now it's what we try to do is recover the original topography, bring the original vegetation from the Piedmont forest, the bushes, the grasses, the tree canopy, instead of turning into sort of typical manicured lawns, is almost like bringing back the forest to the center of campus. We have 1 million sensors to learn from it, but it's designed in a way that it captures storm runoff waters, so it has a great environmental impact as well. We've now seen species of insects and birds that had not been seen on campus. They're coming back. If you give nature a chance, it heals itself. So we've learned a ton from that experience, and my hope is that everything we do, as much as we can, we will keep also adding those green spaces.
Okay, thank you. Hello, President Ángel Cabrera. I'm Dejanira King with Perkins and Will. As the aforementioned speaker said, thank you for your authenticity. I do have a question about, well, first I want to say, I think what you're doing with Georgia Tech is beautiful. I love how human-centric it is currently. I love to ride my bike there. I do feel safe. But I do have a question about, while the accolades of Georgia Tech and the accommodations for student accessibility are growing, and the institution is accounting for the development of the numbers, are you all accounting for the housing displacement due to the mass development of the room full of legacy residents that we have here in the city, in addition to the detriment of redlining, how you guys are capitalizing, how most college institutions currently are capitalizing on the former redlining and developments such as the highways? Are you guys accounting for how you're going to protect the residents that currently reside in the communities that you're developing in, and how things like property taxes or noise and things like that have to do with the architecture of the community, how that will impact them?
So first of all, we are growing like crazy, right? That's a fact. We are the fastest growing university in the country over the last decade. Not all of that is physical students on campus. We created a big online program, which is the biggest online master's programs in any university in the world right now. So we're approaching 20,000 students who are entirely online. But our campus-based programs are growing also very, very fast. We're trying to make room for more students this year. We had like several thousand students on a wait list who want to live on campus. We're building a new dorm right on the northwest side of our campus, and we're trying to find more solutions to make room for more students. When we grow, we always do that. This is the question we ask: how do we add value to our communities? We don't say, oh, how do we take advantage of any opportunity? How do we bring value all the assets that Georgia Tech has to bring value. So we engage with the community. Tony Zivilic and Chris Burke, they spend a lot of time before we do anything, before we even engage in the process that ended up selecting Trammell Crow. A big part of it is understand what the community needs and wants. How can we be a good neighbor that adds value, right? In fact, in selecting our partners was also what partner is willing to fully engage with us, engage with the neighborhood, understand how do we create value together. So that is the approach that we follow. We're not the city, we're school. So there are many of the things and the phenomena that you brought up that obviously resonate with many of us that we don't have all the tools to address. But we do have an influence, and as much as we can, every time before we make a step, we're going to be working with our partners to make sure what we do creates more value than it destroys, if you will.
Thank you.
Well,
Sorry,
no, I
Jen.
think we're about, one more question?
Just
Okay.
one more. Maria
All right.
Saporta.
Hey, President Cabrera, thank you for your time. I am interested in you talking about the role and responsibility that Georgia Tech has. When I was growing up, there was a community, Home Park. It had neighborhood streets on a grid, and then the Georgia Tech trained highway engineers came in and built a master plan with almost like highways going through the campus that totally changed the dynamic of a pedestrian-oriented or alternative energy-oriented campus. What kind of responsibility does Georgia Tech have to retrofit that kind of environment and also to be the voice, not just for what happens on campus, but for the whole city, to have bicycle paths, large, wide sidewalks, and a kind of human scale that was destroyed when the highway engineers took over?
Yeah, so first I need to learn more about that part of our history. I lived in Home Park as a grad student on State Street. So, and I chose it because it was one of the few neighborhoods that allowed me to walk and ride my bike and so on. So I love it. I'll tell you, everything we can do, and we collaborate with the city a lot, with Midtown Alliance, again, with all the communities around us. Anything we can do to make our city more walkable and more bikeable, we're in. There's a direct correlation between quality of life, economic development. Anything you care about, there's a direct correlation. We know this from my urban planning colleagues. There's a direct correlation with walkability of a city. So we're in. In fact, soon after I arrived, this is a small anecdote, that the city called me. They were doing a commercial to celebrate that they were opening a piece of an additional bike lane, say, would you want to come to video and ride your bike? And I said, no, I don't want the attention. I now say, heck yes, count me in. I'll be on any commercial that you do, anything that brings attention on. I love that now. I think the idea of the city of not waiting until you have the whole bike lane figured out. Like if you can put a bike lane for 2 blocks, let's go ahead and put it in. I think it's brilliant. But in every piece that we are responsible for, we make sure walkability is built in from the very beginning.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Maria, for that last question. And we're out of time, but for our program, I want to thank you. And as we get ready to thank you, also, I know you've got a great team that came here to support you. And maybe as we thank him, if you're part of the Georgia Tech team, please stand up so we can thank Alville for being here this morning.
Please do. Here. Come on, Tony, Julie, Grace, everybody. Shante, I see you. Dallas, you missed that cue. You're also part of the, anyway. There you go.
All right. That was awesome.
Thank you also very much.
And I know, I see the chair of the English Avenue Neighborhood Association, Tracy. So whenever you're ready to walk through Vine Street English Avenue, we're ready, right, Tracy? So, but thank you for your authenticity. Thank you for giving us your time this morning. We're grateful. We know you have so many demands as the president of Georgia Tech.
Thank you for what you do to make this a better community. Much appreciated.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we want to do one last thing before y'all get ready to walk out, which we're going to call the winners.
Yes.
For
guys, don't leave.
Like something free's about to happen.
Yes. Okay. So again, the red and blue tickets that I mentioned earlier, if you have those, we will be drawing the winners. Well, I've already drawn them. Announcing the winners. So red ticket winning number is 399-1146. Red ticket 399-1146. 399-1146. Okay, second red ticket winning number is 399-1151. 399-1151. Okay, I'll get a picture with you at the end, okay? Congrats.
Linda.
Okay, winning blue ticket. Okay.
You might just have to give it to somebody.
Okay. He's telling me, I can't understand what he's saying. I'm so sorry. You're saying over? Okay. Okay, winning blue ticket number 130-749-130. You guys check real quick, okay? I'll get a picture with you at the end, okay? All right, I think we are done. December 15th, come back and see us.
Thank you.
All right, sorry you guys. Good weekend.